Hey everybody, Mrs. Alcorn here to talk to you about primary productivity. The learning objective for today is by the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain how solar energy is acquired and transferred by living organisms. On the right-hand side, you can see the essential knowledge that you will gain, hopefully, from this presentation. And then there's a cool cactus. Who doesn't love a cactus? The primary productivity basis. So what is primary productivity? You know that producers are plants and they are capable of photosynthesis. So primary productivity is the rate that solar energy is converted into organic compounds via photosynthesis over a unit of time. The units are kilocalories per meter squared per year. So kilocalories, that's the energy that's produced. Meter squared is the area. And then you have time. So an easier way to think about this is it's the rate of photosynthesis of all producers in an area over a given period of time. Since photosynthesis leads to growth, you can also think of it as the amount of plant growth in a given area over a period of time. So what would the primary productivity of your backyard be like in the winter versus in the summer? It would be very different, right? Though there is some photosynthesis that does happen in the winter. Certain types, species of trees do have some chlorophyll in their bark, but on warm days, they do some photosynthesis, not a lot. Anyway, I diverge. So areas with high primary productivity, there's a lot of growth, therefore a lot of food and shelter for animals. Okay, so when you have a lot more energy in an area, you're going to have more biodiversity, so more diversity of species than areas with low primary productivity. So how do you calculate it? The respiration loss. So plants eat some of the food that they make, right? Some of the sugars that they're not making this for us. They're not like, oh, hi, humans, have an apple. They're making their sugars, their glucose, so that they can use it and grow, metabolize, make seeds. Okay. Um, so plants use some of the energy by doing cellular respiration. Remember, plants do cellular respiration. Okay. Think of respiration loss as taxes the plant needs to pay. So the gross primary productivity is the total amount of sun energy that plants capture and convert to energy through photosynthesis. It's the total paycheck that the plant earns. The net is the amount left over after the plants have used some for respiration. So this is the actual amount of the plant's paycheck it keeps after taxes. And you guys, many of you work at Market Basket, or some of you have co-op jobs, and it looks like you're making, let's say, $500, but then once all the taxes come out, it's like $400, right? So the $400 would be the net primary productivity, but the gross before taxes are taken away is would be the $500. So the net NPP equals gross primary productivity minus the respiration loss. Okay. And here's some photos of that. You have your total captured and then the net. I like this picture. This is what I think of. It's from your textbook. So I like how it shows this is the gross, but a lot is lost due to heat in respiration, that energy, and then the net is what's left over, and that actually goes into growing and making seeds. The portion of incoming solar energy that is captured by plants and converted into biomass is the efficiency. So the NPP, or the food available to consumers as you go up the trophic levels. Generally, only 1% of all incoming sunlight is captured and converted into GPP via photosynthesis. Of that, only about 40% or 0.4% of total incoming solar energy is converted into biomass. In some ecosystems, this isn't a hard and fast rule. Some ecosystems are more efficient than others. The more productive a biome is, the wider the diversity of animal life it can support, high biodiversity. Try to predict the most and least productive terrestrial and aquatic biomes. Well, here they are. Okay, the least productive, you've got the desert, okay? Um, Now here, some of the most productive biomes are actually swamps and marshes, followed by tropical rainforests. Okay, in marine ecosystems, a coral reef would be the most productive. The open ocean, and this the AP exam loves to ask this. The open ocean, there's a lot of while there is a lot of phytoplankton, it's not very productive. Water availability, higher temperature, and nutrient availability are all factors that lead to high NPP. A shortage of any of these will lead to decreased net primary productivity. So, like the desert, there's not a lot of water. The water is a limiting resource in the desert. Oh, there's a giant woodpecker. I wish I could show you guys. Desert, low water, low nutrient. The tundra, low temperature and liquid water because it's frozen. Let it go. In the open ocean, there's the low nutrient availability. All right, so practice FRQ 1.8. Describe the process of net primary productivity. Describe the relationship between primary productivity and biodiversity.